Okay, so I recently bought this Rough Ryder knife, and I have to say, I think it's probably the best just regular Rough Ryder knife that I've ever gotten. Of course, there's the Rough Ryder Reserve, Easy Open Razor, I think they called it. And that knife was fantastic, but that's the Rough Ryder Reserve, which is like a higher quality Rough Ryder knife. This is just a standard Rough Ryder, and it's actually done really well. The reason why I bought this is because, well, this is my third like sunfish or elephant toenail knife, and I really liked this blue bone. It doesn't look quite as good on camera as it does in real life. It's kind of more like an aqua color than it's appearing on camera right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just a really cool cover material. I liked the way it looked and everything. So I decided to order this knife. And basically, it's a sunfish or an elephant toenail. It's put together really well. There is some gaps, but as you guys know, I don't really care that much about that kind of stuff. Uh, Main blade. It's also very easy to open, which is nice compared to the other Rough Rider sunfish that I have. It's got this kind of like a sheep's foot almost main blade here, but it's got a little bit of belly, so it's not really a sheep's foot, but it is shaped like that, which is cool. Half stops on it. The action on it isn't the best. I have tried to clean it out and everything. The action's just not that great, but that's okay. Secondary is this Warncliffe blade, and again, it's actually really easy to open, which is nice. Um, but yeah, this knife is just put together really well. It doesn't have any blade play or anything. There's no huge gaps. Um, and I really, I actually really like this sunfish knife or elephant toenail or, whatever you want to call it. This is probably my favorite regular Rough Rider knife. Um, and I'm glad I ordered it. I'm always hesitant to order Rough Rider knives because I haven't had the best experience with them in the past. It seems like most of the ones I get have some rather serious issues. If the blade is just hitting the liner, like not even just a little bit, but just like completely rested up against the liner on the one side, or the blade's like bent maybe, and it'll have like huge gaps and everything. I just haven't had really good luck with Rough Rider knives. This is the first one that I can actually say that I'm really glad that I did order. And this knife was $20, so it's not quite as cheap as some of the other Rough Rider knives, but it is a lot cheaper than like a case knife or you know, a GEC or anything like that, or a Boker, any of the premium traditional knife brands. Rough Rider's a lot cheaper than that, and that's why people buy them so much. Um, I really like this pattern. I like the blades. I like the blade combination of like this big sheep's foot kind of with like a belly. It's a modified sheep's foot. That's what I'll call it. I'll call it modified sheep's foot. That way I'm right no matter what. And I just forgot what this was called. Said it earlier. A Warncliffe. That's what it is. And a Warncliffe blade. Interesting blade combination on this pattern. Normally you have a really big spear blade and a smaller pen blade that's also a spear. Um, but this knife's got two completely different blade shapes and two unusual blade shapes for a pattern like this. But yeah, so $20, really well put together in this awesome. They call it Sawcut. It's not Sawcut. It's just machined kind of. Um, but it does look good. I really like the color and everything. Um, this has been carried, I think, one day so far, and I'll probably throw it in my pocket every now and then. Generally speaking, these Rough Riders don't get carried as much as my Great Eastern Cutlery knives or my case knives, but I do occasionally throw one in my pocket. Anyway, just thought the knife was cool. Figured I would show it off a little bit.